it's Jenny and I am back with another book review. And once again this one was actually requested. It was requested that I read an Ellen Hopkins book and I chose to read Impulse by Ellen Hopkins. Now Impulse was originally published in 2007 and it has 666 pages, but as I will explain, don't let the page number put you off. So Impulse is focused on three people, Tony, Vanessa and Connor. Each one of them has tried to kill themselves in one way or another. And as a result, they have landed themselves in the psychiatric hospital Aspen Springs, and this is where we meet all three of them at the beginning of the book. Now the main female character is Vanessa, and she had a mother who is bipolar and her father is also in the army. She is also battling whether she will end up having bipolar disorder as well, and her refuge or way out is through cutting herself or self-harm, as people tend to call it, but there are lots of self-harm. But she is obsessed with cutting herself and the rush of drawing blood. Then we have Tony, who is gay and he had a really abusive childhood and a really abusive upbringing and been in juvenile detention, and his escape is through drugs and that lands him in Aspen Springs. And then our final one is Connor, who is the all-American quarterback, the star athlete, top of his class, really good looking, really rich, everything any guy would want to be, and he is absolutely miserable. His family life is cold, harsh. He's never had a proper family life. It's just, you do your job, you get top grades, if you don't you will have failed us, and he's just absolutely miserable. For the guy you would think would have it all, he has nothing of what is actually important, and so he tries to shoot himself. Try being the apt word, because he failed, and that has also landed him in Aspen Springs, where the three characters meet each other. So the whole book is basically focused on following the three characters through their struggles. They're all connected in the fact that they are all battling their own inner demons, and they just want to find a way to normal, to happiness, and at the same time are wondering whether they want to find a way to happiness, whether it's actually even possible. And you're following the three characters through their struggle in Aspen Springs and going through the levels. You have to go through 5 levels in Aspen Springs until you can be released, to learn about their backstory, about their childhood, what brought them to Aspen Springs, how they're dealing with their inner turmoil, and that is pretty much the gist of the actual book. So what were my actual feelings on the book? Well, the book itself is written in a free verse poetry. The whole book is written like this. So you see what I mean when I said that 666 pages would go pretty fast. Like I said, it's written in free verse poetry, and at first I wasn't sure if I was actually going to like it or not, but it didn't take me that long to actually get into it, and it does flow really fast when you do get into it. But I was just at the beginning, I was like, oh no, I've never seen this before, I don't know if I'll like this, what's going on? But I got over myself and it was fine. So yeah, it was actually grand to read. But I had slight issue with, which I also got over, but there's literally only about 5 or 6 pages at a time dedicated, and you've seen the pages, they're not proper full pages, dedicated to each person. So at the beginning they were going back and forth between Vanessa, Tony and Connor really fast, and I was kind of trying to remember whose backstory was which, and maybe I was just having an off day and I just wasn't getting it fast enough, because there'll be loads of you going, I didn't have a problem with that, what's wrong with you? It literally lasted only it's just the beginning of the book, and like I said, once you get into it and once you read it, it flows really fast, you get to know the characters really well, and you don't have an issue with that. It was obviously me just being odd. The book itself and the characters, it's kind of like a study on different perspectives. It gives you a different perspective on depression, how people deal with it, what the different types are, how it affects people of every social class. It also gives you a different perspective on each of the characters, although it is written in a first person narrative. Whilst Tony is talking, he will that you'll also be talking to Connor or Vanessa, so you'll get Tony's view on Connor and vice versa. So you're getting Connor's feelings but also the way the other people are actually seeing them, so you're getting a different view of them from each side, which I thought was really good. It's kind of shed a light on the way they were feeling but also how people reacted to them as well, and I thought the way it was written was really good, and the way the different areas were approached was really great. The way Ellen Hopkins wrote some things, it was really beautiful. Let's say, take for instance this, her smile is like a summer moonlight, beautiful and magical, with a fire that could melt the night. I mean, the whole book is written in such a beautiful verse, and it is supposed to be poetry. It's free verse poetry, that's why you can read it as a book, but beautifully written, some of the sections of it. Like, obviously there's just talking every now and again, but when they're describing their feelings and their emotions, it's really well done, and I have to commend Ellen Hopkins for that. And I think most of her books are written in this style. If I'm wrong, please feel free to correct me in the comments, but as far as I know they are, and I took to it. It was good, and so I would definitely consider reading another one of her books. I will give this book a 4 out of 5, and the only reason it's not getting a 5 out of 5 is even though it was really good and really well written, I don't know how to describe it, but almost like it was missing the oh my god factor. Like, there wasn't a oh, that book is amazing. It was missing that, and it's hard to quantify, but I'm just giving my opinion. I still thought it was really good, and definitely worth checking out as well if you are, I guess, into these type of books. That is Impulse by Ellen Hopkins. I would definitely recommend you reading it. That is it. I hope you are good. I hope you liked this video, and I will see you in my next one. Bye guys.